Michael Peña, welcome to the American Glutton podcast.
Thank you. Thank you. This time is a little bit different because I feel like it's going to be a painful, embarrassing, slightly whiny endeavor that we're going to partake.
Okay,
and I'm like, I instantly regretted it, dude. I was like trying to get out of it.
Like, what are we doing? I don't want to talk about this.
I was like, but it's basically, I'm starting a new movie in about a month and a half. And I've been asked to match certain pictures that don't look like me right now.
And by the way, that's got to be that's all done in a very PC manner nowadays, right?
Oh yeah, you want me to lose weight? Oh, Michael, I can't tell you that. I can't. But can you match this? And I was like, dude, it's when I was 13. Is there any way to match that?
Yeah, perfect. Just take how you look now and make it like you were when you were 13.
Yeah, exactly. Well, before I even hit puberty. Yes, exactly.
That's what we're going for.
Yeah, but it's more of an artistic view. I'm like a choice. I mean, like it's when you're doing more comedy stuff, I feel like I believe like a little rounder kind of is better and it's more approachable in a way. And this one, it's a drama. It's an Amazon movie. I'll tell you guys later on down the line. But and both the director and I thought, yeah, it's probably better if we did match this certain look. Like, it was like an End of Watch and Crash and Fury and, with the cheekbones sticking out a little bit. It's a little, I don't know, you just kind of take that person a little bit more seriously. Maybe it's bullshit, but like, I see that with everybody that all the movies that I watch and stuff.
And those are like it's kind of the fun thing about being an actor is you get to make those choices to flesh out a character in that way and go like, yeah, wait, this guy has visible cheekbones.
Yeah. I mean, like, well, it's almost like, the way that I approach it is kind of like I love like true crime and stuff, but like a crime scene investigator where you're like, you write up like the script is all the evidence, right? And the crime at the scene, so to speak. And then you have to write a profile based on that with how active this guy is and how active astronauts are. I'm like, there's no way he looks like he's eating donuts. You know what I mean?
Right.
And they don't eat for a while. And what they do eat is kind of, they eat rations and stuff. And they're all really smart. So they kind of they're just aware of different things that, somebody like me is. And, they have to fit into that suit.
Yeah.
And so I thought it would be more legit, but I do kind of take all that stuff, all that nerdy stuff into consideration.
Okay. So all that being said, you have dieted before.
Yeah. So I kind of did myself a disservice, but I used to wrestle. I would come in at 150 pounds and I would wrestle like this was at 16. I would wrestle 125.
Wow.
And then I would, I'd be shredded, but I was messing up my metabolism. My brother's still like thin. So is my dad, and they're cut up but I have to go up and down. And when you're losing weight, I don't know how I messed it up. Maybe you have more information about that, but like, I definitely look different than my dad and my brother do. I get thicker quicker. And I think that's what happened every Saturday night after the wrestling meet. I would eat as much as possible. I'd starve myself for 6 days. And then I would, like on a Monday, I would be 140 pounds and I have to lose 50, something like that. But a lot of it was water because, I live in Chicago, so pizzas and all that stuff. And I didn't do the diet right,
Yeah. Okay. Listen, just to keep that in mind, there have been studies now that, with science and stuff, they say like, well, the preponderance of the evidence looks like X, right? But they can't say this is absolutely true, but they have studied people who in famines, their bodies go through some really, complicated changes and they will pass that on genetically. So there's actually like a DNA shift. The Dutch hunger winter was the biggest study I read about, but basically like if you're repeatedly starving your body, your body might go like, fuck, every Saturday we're starving. We need to hold on to more weight. So we need to like literally kick up hunger a little bit so that it's higher, so that this guy eats. So we have more of a savings account of energy when this famine comes again next week. You know what I mean? Like your body's playing games like that.
Yeah, no, and that's exactly what it was. Cause I remember eating on Saturday night, and I didn't have that sense of fullness, you know? So I'm like, I was just eating, and my stomach would stick out, and I just didn't feel full. And I just kept feeding myself. And in retrospect, I think I did myself a little bit of a service, because I didn't totally starve myself, and like, it's almost like carb loading, and like during the weekends, which I did do that, because I was still able to stay strong and wrestle, downstate and stuff. So, but I can tell that some of the kids were cutting weight differently. I started in a prep school, then I went to a public school. And when I went to a public school, that's when I was like, forget about it. We get the crappiest food, sloppy joes that taste like plastic. And in the private school, like everything was much, much better. So I am living proof of that. But now I've had to lose weight for other parts. And here I was like, okay, how can we do like a super simple diet, right? And we were I was thinking about, there's a couple guys that I talked to that said walking, right?
Yeah.
Caloric deficit, have your macros and your micros intact. Don't starve yourself, right? Just be at a caloric deficit, and do it gradually so that your body doesn't feel that it has to hold on. So kind of building like this communication line between, my food and the body, so that it doesn't shock itself and doesn't do what you said it's going to do, right? And hold on to things or create this hunger that is unnecessary.
Yeah. Well, the other fear would be if you do something where it's like this purge or this dehydration thing, then you get to filming and you're like, on day one, you're perfect. You're going to be fucking miserable. First of all, it's going to be a brutal month and a half. And then the entire time you're working, if you want to maintain that, it's going to be fighting tooth and nail. You know what I mean? Rather than doing something that's a little bit slower, like, right, you're not going to lose 10 pounds in a week, or like you said, you wrestled at 150 and you were cutting to 125. Like, that's like, if you got to do a photo shoot next week, maybe you can do something like that. But if you've got 6 weeks, you can take off a lot of weight in 6 weeks, just doing something sensible and eating in such a way that you can continue eating that way the entire time. Movies, like, people don't always know this. That's like a few months, right? It's not like this is a job that takes one day to do. Yeah. You gotta, and then, so there's the worry of like, if you dehydrate yourself day one, you might look completely different than you look day whatever. But if you want to like maintain your weight throughout it in a really healthy way, that'll be easier to do if you take this approach where they're talking about like figuring everything out, slight caloric deficit, increase walking, increase your caloric deficit by moving your body a little bit more. I think that's a much more rational approach.
Yeah. And I think that's why I fucked up in the past, where like, when I had to get in good shape, what I would do is I would start running right away, right? But if you're 200 pounds, not that I'm 200 pounds, okay, I'm 200 pounds, but like, but if you're like 2 bills and you want to get down to 175 pounds, which is I can get down to about 175, and then I start looking kind of weird after that. But I would run with like an extra 25 to 30 pounds on my knees.
Yeah.
So, and I would feel heavy. So, and because I ran track as well, it feels more comfortable actually to go slightly faster and extend yourself. That's what feels comfortable, right? And so I totally did my knees in, right?
Yeah.
And I'm watching this knees over toes guy and actually rehabbing a little bit by, he says, confronting the area. So there's a couple of things that I'm going to be doing, and I know I'm not going to be in the best of moods, but and we'll see. But let's come up with a diet, right? Let's come up with
yeah, exactly. You don't going into a diet and going like, this is going to be fantastic, I'm going to love every minute of it. Maybe that's not good, right? That's not a good strategy. Yeah. But also, like, I think for you and for guys like me, and because here's the thing, like, even though you weren't ever obese, you were doing really, really hard diets. You had to redo that over and over again, which is, all of the same, like, emotions and, and then also the physiological things where your body's going like, let's put this weight on real quick. Since we took it off real quick, now there's food again. Like, you can get rid of all that. You can make it as close to normal life, and obviously if normal life is like donuts and cheeseburgers, you might have to confront, like, we're going to take a break from donuts and cheeseburgers.
Yeah,
right? Like, it's a hard strategy. But then there are, you can get low calorie bread and eat super lean beef, and like, you can figure out a cheeseburger. It's not going to taste anything like a real cheeseburger. Donuts, I've never had a good substitute for a donut, so I just don't eat donuts. But
donuts are delicious.
Donuts are fantastic, right? And like, I've never had a fake donut where I was like, yes, this takes the place of a real donut.
Yeah, oh yeah, dude. As soon as that light goes on Krispy Kreme, dude, I'm like,
yeah,
and yeah. So I'm going to stop that. But dude, do you want to go through like because I have no idea. I thought about walking, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, if I start walking half an hour a day, regardless if it's day or night, right? I'm going to walk 30 minutes, next week, 40 minutes, then 50 minutes, then an hour, right? Yeah. And I think that's going to be good. I think I'm going to be able to make some strides weight-wise.
Yeah.
Right. So I wanted to see, how can I check because I think we should go off body fat, right? Like, right now I'm probably like 29, dude. It's so much for me, right? I came back from
I'm looking
Chicago.
at you. You don't look like 29, but okay, fine.
Fair
enough.
But I'm not going to show you.
Right.
But I'm like, it's definitely 29 when my son makes fun of me.
Okay.
Son of a bitch is making fun of me. He's 13,
Yeah. Right. That's the age. That's the age where they do it. They're going to find the buttons and trample it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's exactly what he's doing. So how do I measure my body fat? What's a great way to measure my body fat?
I've done 3 different ways. I've done,
what's the best way?
The best way is the DEXA scan. You go into a place. It was a machine created basically to test bone density. It was really designed for people with like osteoporosis to check if their bones were wasting. But the byproduct was it perfectly tested your lean tissue and your body fat also. So, and again, there's some percentage of inconsistencies or missing, but it is the most accurate. Like, I remember I once went in and got the pinch test from a bodybuilder. They do calipers and they pinch all over your body and they're writing down stuff. And this guy did it all. And he was like, hold on a second, I got to do it. Did it all again, got the same number and was like, you're 8% body fat. And I was like, that's not possible. That's just not possible. And so I went and got a DEXA scan and I was 14% body fat and I was much happier.
Well, that's really good, dude, for a guy that like, with your structure, man, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. I did get down to 9% at one point on a DEXA scan for one day. And it was a nightmare getting there. And then, that day, I think I gained 9 pounds just eating and drinking at this photo shoot. But like, that there's no way So calipers, I've found, kind of give you an underestimation. And then there's you hold on to these electrodes and you put your bare feet onto metal plates.
Yeah. What is it? What is that called?
I don't remember what that's called because I have done that a few times and always gotten an astronomically high result. So that's where I got 29. And I was like, okay, I am 29% body fat. I'm like, okay, it seems a little high. Yeah, I don't look at you and see 29%. And by the way, when I was, and I don't think you can just go like, okay, I was, when I did that test, I was 26. And then the next day I was 8 with calipers. And then the day after that, I was 14 on the DEXA scan. And I was like, honestly, I like the DEXA scan result the best. It feels the most honest. I have visible abs in the right lighting. So, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not doing too much of a cheat. And so I'm just going to stay with that. And that's the only way I test for body fat percentage now.
Okay. So you know what? As you were talking, I looked on my phone and I was like, DEXA scan, Tampa, and there's a bunch.
Yeah.
Like, I'll just go in and but right now, let's just say like 200 pounds, 29% body fat. We'll just go off that number until we can make it happen. I might be like, I just came back from Chicago and I right before, because I knew I was getting on this diet, I crushed pizza like crazy. So I might be 204. Let's say 204.
Fair.
20, let's say 30% body fat right now. So I would want to lose 25 pounds.
Yeah. Now listen, the one thing I want to say is if you're not trying to build muscle mass, right? If you're just trying to maintain lean tissue, some resistance training is necessary. It's not that you have to like kill yourself in the gym. It's like really just the bare minimum. So all you have to do is tell your various muscles, like, I still need you. You know what I mean? You don't have to work them to failure. You don't have to, spend hours in a gym lifting weights. And it could even be like twice a week. You could
like
do
full
like
body stuff.
Yeah, totally fine. And that all that will do is with the walking, it's not even about like increasing your caloric deficit with that exercise. That exercise is literally like, if your body is hungry, it's primarily going to use your stored energy, your fat. But if it's got like this big pec muscle that hasn't really done anything in a while, it might go like, well, that's not working. Let's take a little bit of that too. And if you want to avoid that, now, if you don't care, you don't have to do any of that. But if you want to do a little bit of resistance training, that'll help, because you could find, I've had instances where I was dieting really hard and not doing any resistance training and checking periodically my weight on a DEXA scan, my percentages. And there were times where I was losing up to 40% lean tissue along with fat.
Oh my gosh. I don't want that.
Right.
By the way, so I want to do this. Like I just want to do like the dummies version of the Hollywood diet with me and you and see what we can do. But if after a month I'm not doing it, I'm like, I'm going to go right to some Hollywood trainer for the last 3 weeks and then like
and just kill it, leave it all on the floor.
But hopefully I'll be a guinea pig for the next 4 weeks. So
right. Perfect.
Okay, cool. So resistance exercise, I'm like, I did do a little bit of surveying and everyone says that you need to wake them up to make sure that you're sending your body signals. I mean, a lot of people are saying like, you have to send your body, you got to tell your body this, and you got to make sure that it's almost like an organism that doesn't belong to you. Like that's the best way of thinking of it, huh?
It's so weird. I do talk about my body as though it's like, I have this really cool desk and it can do lots of stuff, but I want it to look different. So I'm going to do some other stuff to it. It's so bizarre to talk about us this way. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's probably because the dieting sucks so bad that you're like, I'm doing it's, I'm trying to build this one thing and it's got to, the instructions are really complicated. So, but I'm going to stick with it. I think it's to, to create a little bit of distance and it's easier to confront. So that's cool. Yeah. So resistance training twice a week. I have to figure out maybe some YouTube videos on how to do that on my own. I'm guessing the basic push and pull, right?
Yeah. And listen, like if you can get some legs in there too, it's helpful, but it really isn't something you have to kill yourself at. What I would say is over the course of 6 weeks, make week 1 a really easy week and just try to increase a little bit over the 6 weeks, because your body's really smart and your body wants to game you as much as you want to game your body. And your body's desires are not, I need to look good for this movie. Your body's desires are, I want to store as much fat as possible, because in my childhood, I was starving a lot and I don't like starving.
Well, my body's like tacos, tortas,
Right.
burritos, flan, horchatas. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Put
Shit
it
like
in me.
that.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, buddy, oh my gosh, that's what I hear all the time, dude. I got that small Mexican voice
Yeah.
like that. He's like, get that horchata, man. I was like, the horchatas are delicious, dude.
Yeah, they're
And
fantastic.
oh, dude, and if I did anything right, I would get an horchata. So
Yeah.
like, but
I
that's nothing but sugar.
Right. I tried to develop horchata protein powder for a long time. I tried. I
Oh,
wanted to release
dude.
horchata because I've never seen it before. And horchata is one of the greatest things. I was going to do horchata and Thai iced tea, and it just didn't taste
Ooh.
right. Neither of them tasted good.
Dude, I mean, I wish you wouldn't have said that. You might have to cut that out because that's genius.
It would be good, right?
Yeah, it would be so good. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna go with the DEXA scan. I'm gonna do resistance, 30 minutes a
And
day.
the way you're talking about increasing the walking is super important too.
Okay, like do it at a I'm gonna try 30 minutes, right?
Yeah.
But if that's too much and my knees hurt, blah blah blah, then I'm gonna tone it back a little bit because I think the body can adjust.
Yeah.
It can adapt.
And if your knees hurt, you can find other shit to do. Like, I know it's super boring and like walking is almost doubly beneficial because you're outside, you're maybe getting some sun or you're looking around. Elliptical machines are really great and super easy on the knees.
Okay, yeah, I mean, but some elliptical for some reason I'm just so bored
Yeah.
doing that. You know what I mean? I think it's something about walking and maybe seeing the neighbors and
Yeah.
like
Yeah. No, I agree.
it's just I'll just have to do it super early because you're on one side of Florida, I'm on the other side, closer to Tampa, and it's just so hot, man.
Yeah. No,
It's
it's brutal.
ridiculous.
It's
Yeah, yeah,
brutal.
yeah, yeah. Okay, cool. So I'll do that every day. DEXA scan. I'll probably get the right numbers next Monday.
Okay.
I'll do resistance. I'll do a little bit of research, and we can talk about that when I get back. And then for diet, I was talking to Jason Walsh's associate Ornella, right? And I asked her about what she thought about certain diets and stuff. And because I know so little of it, I'm like, all right, I'm going to ask someone just so that they can send me a document. And I'm not going to say everything because they want to keep their information to themselves.
Sure.
But basically, just micros and macros, you know what I mean? Eat enough protein, which I'm having a hard time doing, dude.
Yeah.
It's so what I'm going to do this first week is,
I mean, listen, if I had anything to say, if you could get 175 to 200 grams of protein a day, I think it would make a big difference in how you felt over the next 6 weeks. I really do.
Because here's the crazy thing. Like, as I've gotten older, like I'm, and I know that it's from having to do with my body, right? And how much I beat it up. Every once in a while, I get on set and I deal with a little bit of anxiety, right? And I was like, what the hell is it? I mean, I take vitamins and blah, blah, blah. And I took a lot of vitamins. And then I get it sussed out. But I've got to go through that whole motion. And I don't know which one exactly is that's handling it, right? But so I just take all of them. I basically got I travel with a ton of vitamins. And I don't know if it's vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin E, blah, blah, blah. So it is what it is. But, it could be that like I have a little bit of high blood pressure. I'm just like teetering, and then also my cholesterol. So that's another reason why I'm like, you know what? Let me get rid of some of this fat.
Yeah.
More for not having to put more stress on my body at a resting state, if that makes any sense. Like, I don't want to sit down and then my body's kind of having to work a little bit. I want to stick around for the kid and my family for as long as I possibly can. So I was like, okay, cool. So let's handle that for that reason, And so so that's another reason to start doing this. And so I hopefully that goes away. Cause I remember when I was in good shape, like in End of Watch and other movies like that, like I didn't feel that stuff. You know what I mean? There's always pressure on a set, and then you have to dig your way out of it or find a way to not be as introverted or not be nervous. And there's always different tricks, breathing techniques or just looking at stuff. So, but it's been just these last couple of years after COVID, you know what I mean, that it's been a little tougher. So I was like, all right, it just so happens I was eating a lot during the COVID and not exercising enough for what I should. So now I need to reverse that trend, and then so that I can start feeling like myself again.
Yeah, no, I think there's, listen, you know, for me, just the atmosphere around COVID has also been something that's caused, like, everybody's scared, right? There's this thing looming, and especially not so much now. I think people are mostly figured out how they want to live with it. But like in the beginning, like there was so much fear, and don't leave your house, and wear a mask everywhere, and don't get close to people. And just that, it was like, it made me withdraw. It made me go like, okay, I'm no longer a part of society. Right. And just that is a total drag. And then we've also been, you know, my buddy Stavros Halkias, who's a hilarious comedian, talked about how, like, you could be a hero during COVID, just order food from Postmates, right? Just like keep those small businesses alive by ordering food. And so he was like, I'm a hero, send the chow mein. And it's like, suddenly you're eating and you're thinking like, this is noble because I'm keeping that business. And I want those businesses to succeed, right? It's nothing to do with that. But like, for me, I don't need to be eating that shit. Like, that's not on my plan. So it's been a tricky few years for sure.
Yeah, that sounded like a justification to chow mein. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he's like, I'm doing the greater good by ordering from chow mein. I'm keeping that business open, dude. Yeah. Dude, you're right, man. These last couple of years have been crazy, man. I'm like, I got COVID, a year, like last year, and it was rough, dude. It was like, you know, the nerves are shot. It affects the nervous system and stuff. So that's another reason, like, I was like, okay, let me start eating. I mean, I've been eating a lot better this year, but like to go all in and get myself back to, like, no, I'm not going to say fighting weight, but like at normal weight, so that my body, like if it gets sick again or whatever, has enough energy to fight whatever it is that it's thrown its way, you know?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different reasons why this is going to be a cool little endeavor. So I'm gonna toss things out because I don't know too much, but like with just diet, like I'm gonna say breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then I'm gonna put snacks. Okay, good.
And you want this to be as simple as possible, right?
Yeah, dude, like super simple, so that like my brother can do it. My brother, you know, he's a Chicago guy, you know, middle class guy, but like, let's just do it so that anybody can do it, because anybody can walk, right? Like anybody can go around and walk, unless they live in the hood and it's like you don't want to go out past 6, you know what I mean? But you can walk in the morning.
Yeah.
So like, you know, you can, you know, if you want to do it with me, that's cool. But like 30 minutes a day, like we can crush that. You know what I mean?
100%.
And then just wake up, you know, go to sleep 30 minutes early, wake up 30 minutes early, and then you have your walk, you know, then you can shower and then get ready for work. So for breakfast, here's what I'm initially thinking, I'm just going to eat the same thing every single day, right?
Yeah.
Breakfast, eggs and pork sausage.
Okay.
With salsa.
Okay. Does it have to be pork sausage?
Why are you smiling, dude?
Well, here's my thought is immediately, could you go eggs and some egg whites and turkey sausage? Because
why the egg whites?
Because just more protein. Really, just because it's more protein. If you could have a whey protein shake with your eggs, I would ask you to do that. But you know, if you're having eggs, add some extra egg whites. And if you could go from pork sausage to turkey sausage, that would increase your protein too.
Okay, 2 eggs and then 2 egg whites.
Great.
So cooked in what?
Preferably cooked in a dry pan or water.
No, dude. I mean, sorry, I meant like olive oil, butter.
Yeah, preferably.
You're like cooked in what? Your kitchen.
Right, cooked, boiled in water. No, if you know, they have these sprays and it says like 1/4 second pump of a spray is zero calories. if you pour olive oil into a pan, you're going to get, at least a teaspoon of olive oil. That's got some energy in it. That's a third of a tablespoon, or just under a third of a tablespoon. So that's like 35 calories in a teaspoon of olive oil.
I say, dude, like a little bit of olive oil. I actually checked it. What seems like a little bit, you pour it, it's almost a tablespoon.
Yeah.
It gets away with you because it's flat, but it's almost a tablespoon.
Yeah. If you can cook it without oil, because a tablespoon of olive oil, I believe, is 130 calories. And really, I would never suggest you go no fat, but fat, if we're just trying to
lose fat.
Yeah, if we're just trying to lose fat, fat has the most energy in it of anything we eat. So the smallest amount actually will go the furthest in our bodies. And so we don't really need to eat a lot of fat to get, if we're just looking at like energy in, energy out, right? How much energy does my body need? Plus I'm going to add a little bit of extra energy by working out a couple times a week and walking every day. So now my energy's up here. I just need to put this much in it, right? And if that's the calculation we're making, I would suggest staying away from extra fat, because there's going to be fat in the eggs. There's going to be fat in the sausage. So you're getting fat. It's not fat free.
Oh yeah. Okay. Turkey sausage. Here, let me turn this light on because it's getting kind of dark. It's too much. There we go. Okay. Oh, so what do you think about waking up and then walking before I eat, or does it matter?
Doesn't matter. If you could drink like whey protein and water, that'd be good, but it doesn't really matter. There's people that are super into like fasted cardio, and walking is low impact, steady state cardio. In the long run, it doesn't show that it's actually any beneficial. So it doesn't matter. It's not going to hurt you to not eat anything before you walk at all, but you're not really doing yourself any favors either. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that makes sense, because if I say like, if you're burning like say 300 calories, on that, I don't know how many calories you're actually going to burn. What does it matter if you have food in you or not? You're still
it really doesn't.
The same.
Yeah, the only times I think that it really matters is if you're going to if you're going to really put your body through something strenuous. The only thing that might matter is how much carbs you've got in your system, or replenishing those carbs after you exercise. So if you're going to be eating carbs, I would say on the days you exercise, eat carbs before and after you work out. That would be my suggestion. But really, you can, people do full workouts on empty stomachs and they're fine. But I think they're doing it for a reason that hasn't totally been scientifically proven.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Because I lost a lot of weight in high school. Like I would eat like at 2, work out at 4, and lose weight, and it wouldn't stop me. I think we didn't get this thing answered. Like, how am I supposed to cook these eggs? Because they're going to stick and they're not going to look.
I'm telling you, if you can do 1/4 second spray on one of those aerosolized oils, because they've got like all natural extra virgin olive oil spray, but you only get
extra virgin olive oil,
but not pouring it in tablespoons. 1/4 of one pump, 1/4 second spritz.
Dude, I'm almost acting like an idiot just so that I'm like, okay, cool. So one.
No, I like it. It's good. We're going to get very specific.
I just wanted to get super, super basic. You know what I mean? Like anyone can do it. Like, all right, so a carton of eggs is three mornings, right? You know what I mean? So, okay, cool. And then, so you mentioned this before, but for like my first snack, right?
Yeah. Do you like fruit?
And the reason, I crush it. Yeah.
Eat some fruit.
I like watermelon, melon, and oranges.
Yeah, any of that is fine. You could eat a couple slices of watermelon. Anything in that group is fine.
But like a handful, right? Like not
Yeah, you don't want to stuff yourself with that, but you can have that fruit as a snack is perfectly fine.
Okay, and then you said some whey protein and water.
That's another great snack. Yeah.
What about whey protein, water, and I would put like a banana and some strawberries, antioxidants.
I mean, listen, is that the same snack as your fruit, or are you using your fruit in your shake now?
It's, to be honest with you, dude, it tastes real good. And
it does taste real good. Bananas have a lot of calories. Bananas, for me, are not a diet food.
What about strawberries?
Strawberries are absolutely a diet food. I would say strawberries, you can freeze them. You can make your shake delicious with strawberries. Bananas, dude, I would stay away from while I'm dieting.
Okay. It feels like I'm tossing out the shit that I can get away with. Okay, cool. So it's either or, like watermelons or like oranges, like, something, some kind of good fruit, or
yeah, but
whey protein, strawberry. I think right now, dude, probably the whey protein with strawberries or watermelon or oranges or something like that. That's probably better for me because it's got protein and.
But now let's get this straight though. You saying oranges? How about orange?
That's not oranges.
Right. That's orange. That's an orange.
Okay, so I'll just take the S out.
Yeah, there you go.
The S out of the orange. And so that would apply to the watermelons.
Right. Right. Watermelon. By the way, not a whole watermelon, a couple of slices of watermelon. Right.
Next week I'm gonna be heavier.
Right. How do we fatten Mike up on the healthiest food possible?
We didn't talk about portions.
Right. Ethan. I don't think, you know what, honestly, the way this is going and the way I think it's going to go, I don't even think we have to talk about portions. I think you're going to see a huge difference because, like, we've only gotten through snack one of the day. We're not even to lunch yet, but so far you've eliminated anything processed, really, right?
Oh, so that's important. No processed. X on the processed.
I think that, like, a really good strategy for the first week of dieting is just okay, you can eat. You don't have to be hungry. Just shop on the periphery of the grocery store. Don't ever go into an aisle. Just stay on the outside. There's meats, there's fruits, there's veggies. You could probably find some whole grains out there that are perfectly fine, but you got potatoes, you got lots of carbs in the vegetables.
And what about tortillas? Tortillas are making corn. Corn is made from the earth.
Yeah, tortillas have a lot of calories. Tortillas, those little tortillas, you look at them, you got 2 tortillas for $1.20 in calories. I would
I'll walk another 10 minutes.
I mean, listen, if you really want to have a tortilla, that's totally fine. I would start to weigh your options there and look at how much sweet potato you could get for the same amount as a couple tortillas, and go like, which is going to fill me up more, which is going to make me feel better. Because, like, I don't know about you, but I can't go and eat. Typically when you go and get tacos, you get 2 tortillas in one taco, because you eat one, and what falls out, you then eat the second one, right? That's why they're there. I think I'm never picking up both of them, but I got to get a platter of tacos to be satiated. And that's going to get tough, because there's a lot of low cost energy. And when I say low cost, I mean, it's not really filling you up that much.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I got to process that. Lunch. So I worked out back in the day with Aaron Babane, who now trains Channing Tatum full time.
Yeah.
And he does a great job, dude. He does a great job with that guy, but he's in Los Angeles. We're still buddies and stuff, but like, I remember back in the day, I think one of the best that I've felt, and I don't remember the diet, it was just something that he put together, but chicken, broccoli, and brown rice for lunch and dinner, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking about maybe getting like a crock pot or something and just getting a bunch of stuff. And because the worst thing that I don't know how to cook something, but the worst thing is like having a couple of chicken patties and they're dry, because then that reminds you that you're on a diet, right? So I'm like, I got to do something about it so that I'm like, it tastes good. And that's either some hot sauce or something. Maybe next week we can talk about it, but what do you think about the chicken, broccoli, and brown rice for lunch and dinner?
I have done that, or versions of that, where I am eating basically, but by the way, I would do 4 meals a day of something like that. It would be one day it would be chicken, broccoli, and rice. Then the next day it would be salmon, cabbage, and rice. And then the next day it would be bison, cauliflower and rice. But I've done versions of that. The only reason I would say that maybe as a long-term strategy, it's not a great idea, is because that is going to get pretty fucking boring, right? So,
yeah, but you just brought up chicken, broccoli, and brown rice, like salmon, cabbage, and brown rice. Like,
yes, first of all, doesn't have to be brown rice. There's no real benefit to brown rice. It's just got a husk that actually isn't easy for your body to digest. So you do not have to eat brown rice. You can eat white rice if you like white rice.
Yeah, because I think it's beneficial to have a little bit of carb, man, for energy.
Yeah, I agree.
When I took that out and I did another like high fat diet, I felt like crap, dude. Yeah. I was like, why, and just by tweaking a little something, which is what we're doing anyway. Like, instead of eating fast foods and stuff, to always stay on the straight and narrow, and just kind of, the other way, like just by not eating rice at all, that crushed me, dude. I didn't feel energetic, or like the workouts would be so tough.
Yeah. No, I listen, I have nothing against consuming carbs. You can totally consume carbs. Carbs and fats, in my opinion, are the two areas that you should be monitoring. Like, I would say, as long as you're getting enough lean protein, right? So not ribeye steaks, and not sausage either, and not whole eggs. I'm talking about egg whites, or lean turkey breast, or lean ground turkey, or lean ground beef, or fish, right? Not salmon skin salads, but like the actual, get rid of the skin.
I've never heard of it, but it sounds delicious.
It's fucking awesome. They crisp them. It's almost like a potato chip, but it's made out of salmon skin. Fucking awesome, but just pure fat.
Cheat meal.
Yeah.
Cheat meal.
But as long as you're sure you're getting enough protein, you don't even have to like weigh or measure that stuff, right? We talked about it. You said like the size of your hand or whatever. Like, yeah. So get enough protein. If you're not getting enough, have some whey protein. The carbs and the fats are the areas where I would suggest, like, okay, pick a thing. Like, can you deal with a cup of rice for a meal? It's really not a huge amount of rice, right? You go to get Chinese food, you're eating 4 or 5 cups of rice easy. Maybe that's an exaggeration, but a cup of rice is not a huge amount of rice. You can have rice or a baked potato, right? French fries, obviously cooked in fat. You're skyrocketing the amount of energy you're putting in your body.
Well, you said a baked potato. Let's go back to that.
Yeah.
You think like half a baked potato is okay?
I would eat a whole baked potato. Nothing wrong with a whole baked potato. By the way, I can't say this is 100%, but like a medium-sized baked potato probably has a similar amount of energy as a cup of rice. So a baked potato, a cup of rice,
sweet potatoes, you said?
Sweet potatoes, I don't want to just give you a list of vegetables, but there's lots of different grains. Quinoa, cup of barley. You can get creative with this stuff, just so it's not, the problem I have with chicken, broccoli, and rice on repeat is it's gonna get really fucking boring. And that's,
so then what do you suggest?
Switch it up with salmon, switch up your carb for a baked potato, right? A baked potato with, and since in the beginning of your diet, you can have salt because you're really not trying to cut water, right? You're just trying to burn fat. So you can put salt on your baked potato. It's going to be delicious.
So why don't we amend it and then say lean meat?
Yeah.
Or fish. And every fish is lean, correct?
Yeah, I
Considered
mean,
for us, for our
I,
purposes.
yes, if you're eating anything fried is going to compound it. So we're
No, I
talking
mean,
about stuff you're cooking at home.
yeah, let's just like, no, but even if I go to a restaurant, right, I'm like, I'll just say, you know, just a piece of fish that's not fried. You know,
Right.
let's just
Or,
let's just
yeah,
do that.
and then try to get them to cook it without oil, like have it grilled. You
That's
know,
nearly impossible because of those grills. You know what I mean? It's like,
I know, but
yeah,
at least on a grill, the excess oil is dripping down into the fire. If it's pan seared, it's just floating it kind of in that oil. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
as
yeah.
far
So let's just say like that way it's doable, right? But
yeah,
like, so we'll say a lean meat or fish, and if I go out, right, you can taste it. You're like, oh, this is cooked with a little something, blah blah blah. I'll have to walk maybe a little bit more tomorrow, or really push it. Blah, blah. It won't be that. It won't tip the scales too much in one direction, right? As long as you're
no. If
like steamed veggies, right, would be one of them, and then a baked potato. So
yeah,
those two for sure you can almost get anywhere.
right. Those two for sure you can get anywhere. And I would stay away from scampies and stuff like that. But like a piece of grilled fish should be fine. And you know, steak at a steakhouse, they're gonna give you fattier meat because it tastes better. So try to get like a fillet or something like that. I'm not such a fillet guy, but that's a pretty lean piece of meat. Don't get the Wagyu fillet. Get the fucking, more bottom of the barrel fillet, right? Um,
Mm.
chicken breast is always you know for sure that's pretty lean. Turkey breast, that's lean. And get, the place that would be problematic would be sauces. Just stay away from sauces because there's a lot of dense energy within those sauces.
Yeah, but I have you can go to Whole Foods and get some pico de gallo or
Yeah,
something like that with just tomato and jalapenos and onions with a little bit of garlic, and you see, and it's like 25 calories
for
for a
the whole
teaspoon.
thing. Oh, for a
Yeah, so
teaspoon.
yeah, something like that. I mean, but you can. I mean, or you can get like hot sauces that'll kind of cover it, like
Yeah,
some steak sauces. Not. I'm going to try to stay away from steaks. I'm just going to go lean meats.
yeah.
You know what's good? Like what I tried. What do you think? What about ground beef?
Well, okay, ground beef gets tricky because again, they want it to be delicious. They want you to keep coming back. So there's a lot of fat in that. If you can get under 10% fat, then it's great. So, and you can
Okay.
find at just about any Whole Foods, like I believe it's 96% lean, 4% fat. That's really lean. You're getting a ton of protein and very little fat for bang for your buck. So that's
What are
that.
those? What are those numbers again? Like the
It's either I think there's like 93% and 93.7 and 96.4. I try to get 96.4 when I can. I can't always find that, but I'll settle for 93.7. That split
maybe
is
what
good.
great, and maybe what we could do is do like a little write up, or just like so you could put it in the corner or whatever,
Yeah.
like a sort of like a PDF thing, and then we could amend it as but I think we can come up. This is good, dude. I think we can come up with something that's kind of simple, and then hopefully we can get to the target of if I weigh, like if I lose 25 pounds, right? I'm a buck 80 or a buck 75, something like that. What do you think the body fat percentage is going to be like? Because that's 25,
Okay. Well,
215. So that's
if I don't
18.
I don't believe you're 30% body fat. I don't believe you're 30% body fat. And listen,
Okay, with whatever we do with DEXA scan, let's do
yeah.
whatever the number is.
But
I
also
get
here's the thing. If you don't crash diet and you do resistance training a couple of times a week, we're going to lose just fat. We're not dehydrating you. We're not putting you into any kind of severe carbohydrate restriction. So your body's just purging water, which is primarily what you're losing on keto when you can eat slabs of bacon and you're losing weight every day. It's because the your glycogen stores in your muscle. It's all liquid. You're just pissing it out, right? Not
Right,
to
but
say-
even the way that you talked to me last time, or just to strip it down to like the just the basic idea,
yeah,
and it made a lot of sense to me because I did keto and I was like, all right, maybe not for me. Some people that like work in office jobs and stuff can crush a keto diet
yeah,
and do great. But I like golfing and basketball with my kid, even though I suck at it. Like, I like being active, right? I just now by talking to you, I'm like I've just been eating way too much fat to lose fat, right?
yeah,
And so I don't even think I have to move that much. I just need to just be aware of certain little things. But what you told me, which made a lot of sense, is that if you take away carbs, right? Carbs retain water easier, right?
yes,
And so if you take away carbs, you have to crush the water,
yeah,
when you're just eating bacon and fat or whatever. And it's harder to keep hydrated,
yeah.
right?
And
And
that's
so
why all keto encourages a lot of salt use too, because in fact, carbohydrates retain something like 5 times the amount of water as salt. But like you're encouraged to use a lot of salt on keto because your body is literally just getting rid of liquid.
Yeah, and some people crush keto though.
Yeah,
They do really well. But we're gonna try this, and then I got to do DEXA scan,
yeah,
and then check out the real numbers, and then I'll probably weigh myself in the morning.
great.
Not so great, but okay.
Well, really not great if tonight, if that means you're making a taco run and a pizza run and a Krispy Kreme run. Tomorrow,
I mean, I'm starting tomorrow, so you never know. But this is what I wanted to talk about before we split. So I feel like I do really well all during the day, no matter what. Like today was horrible. Today I ate 3 eggs, a handful of peanuts, a lot of water. I went golfing. And then I went and I had a small piece of steak, a little bit of rice, and some sushi, right? Which is okay. I'm okay during the day. My cravings are ridiculous, like around 10 to 12.
right.
And I need something at night, just at night. And I need something to feel satiated because I'm so full. I'm so used to the feeling of full.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The things that I would suggest snacking on, honestly, are celery sticks. You could eat a fucking entire head of celery, and that's like nothing. You've consumed nothing but water.
All right, so celery sticks with peanut butter.
No peanut butter. And then like if you're like really, really hungry, and it's not, here's the thing that I've had to fight with for a long time, and I still do a little bit. Am I hungry or am I bored? That's the game I play. And more often than not, I'm bored. And it's not that I'm actually hungry. So if you're actually hungry and you can eat just some protein, some whatever it is, like a non-fat Greek yogurt, and you can make it taste delicious with like some stevia or Splenda, or you can even throw like a teaspoon of PB Fit. PB Fit?
No.
PB Fit is this dehydrated, basically peanut butter that they pull the fat out of, and you get this powder. So it's peanut flavor, and you put that in your yogurt and it becomes like a treat, right? It's like almost eating peanut butter. And if you add some sweetener, it's really good. Or throw some strawberries or blueberries in your yogurt. Those are the kinds of snacks I would encourage, not anything high in carbs or high in fat.
Okay, so non-fat Greek yogurt. Strawberries are fine. Like that PB Fit thing is fine.
Yeah, I mean, if you sit down with 2 pounds of strawberries, that's gonna have a lot of energy in it. But like a handful of strawberries is fine.
Okay. Yeah, so I got that. So what about the flavored non-fat Greek yogurt?
The flavor's got a lot of sugar in it. I would stay away from that.
I'll just stick with strawberries. All right, so I'll try that. And then Cool.
It's not hard. You really shouldn't be hungry. How about that? You shouldn't be hungry.
But I am.
I understand. Get 200 grams of protein into your body tomorrow and a ton of veggies. And maybe, maybe you're looking at that potato and it becomes a little bit of work. Honestly, like I've sat down to have my potato and gone like, I can't finish this potato, which seems crazy. I've never had that trouble with rice. Rice goes down a lot easier for me, but I have looked at a baked potato and halfway through, gone like, I can't eat this anymore.
Okay. Well, we'll check it out. And I guess I'll have to wait. The grams. I'm really gonna have to. That's kind of a new thing. So, but 175 grams to 200 grams of protein is what I'm going to have to look out for.
But I would be willing to bet you track this for 2 or 3 days, you'll have it. You know what I mean? Okay. Like the packages of lean ground beef at Whole Foods tend to come in 1 pound. They're a pound packages, right? And if you can get 96.4 lean ground beef, that package has 120 grams of protein in it. That's it. 1 package. No, but that's 1 pound. That's 2 hamburgers.
No, that's 2 half-pounders.
Yeah, that's 2 big hamburgers.
Dude, that's what is it? That's 4 quarter-pounders with cheese, dude.
Yeah, but you don't understand. Those quarter pounders with cheese have so much fat that half of their value and energy is soaking in the bun. It's not the size of the patty.
Okay, right. I'm picking up what you're throwing down.
Yeah.
Okay, but listen, I'm thinking about getting a Whoop.
I don't know what that is.
Just a Whoop strap, just to see how much.
Oh, for walking. That's great. Yeah.
Yeah, just for walking, because I think you want to get at a certain. Or something to measure, my heart rate, because if I'm not walking fast enough, I'm like, I want to walk fast enough to get into this fat burning, which I think it feels like it's true. It feels like it's correct. If you exert yourself too much, like I don't feel like you lose enough weight, and if you don't do enough, obviously you're not going to do it. So there's got to be. I can YouTube it unless No,
my suggestion is conversational. Like you want to be putting effort into it. It wants to feel like you're doing something. But the minute you couldn't be very comfortably having a conversation, like you're out of breath at all, you're way overdoing it. So you bring it back. You bring it back. So it's like like I like to think about it like when I get to New York, somehow I just walk faster. You just are like, get across the street, get away from these people, get to where I'm going. I think of it that way, right? I think of like, it's a New York pace.
Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So it's a brisk walk. It's not a walk. It's a brisk walk.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, a brisk walk for half an hour.
It's great.
It's kind of a long time. Like, oh, you know what I can do? I think that would be great. Because I always have phone calls that I need to make. Right?
Yeah.
And so because I always pace, what if I scheduled my phone calls for when I have my walk?
Perfect.
Right. And then you're walking, you don't even know it. You're walking 15 minutes away from the house and then 15 minutes back and you're probably still on that phone call.
Yeah. And at any point, if you're walking so hard, talking on the phone call is strenuous, you're walking too fast. Just slow down.
Yeah. Great.
Amazing. Perfect. Amazing, dude. Well, I can't wait. Text me anytime this week and I'm going to check in with you next week.
All right. Sounds good. So next Monday.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, brother. I'll talk to you then.
Bye.